One thing I've always hated when I get to a place is being rushed. This is even before anybody says hello. One of the last times I went to the Kingdom Hall, I walked in the door, was going to sit down. 3 elders rushed me, surrounded me, and says, "What are you doing after the meeting?" Without thinking about it, I says, "I'm going home." Before they said another word, I went over and sat down. Well, during the course of the meeting, I kept looking over. Each one of them kept eyeing me separately. One of them walks over during the meeting and whispers, "We need to talk to you after the meeting." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Well, come the closing song, I'm looking. I really didn't want to talk to them because I really did want to go home. So as the closing song was playing, I gathered my stuff and I went home. Turned my phone off, locked the door, didn't want to hear from them. This is the type of control that Watchtower has to hold over the rank and file. And this is something I want to get into. So let's get to it. How you doing, guys? I think every one of us has known a control freak at least once in our lives. You know, these people that seem to know how to run your life better than you do, and in all honesty, watching how they run their lives is pretty apparent that they don't. This is very prevalent at the Kingdom Hall, and every Kingdom Hall has at least one. Most have several. We had one in my hall who fancied himself a tough guy. In all honesty, after getting to know the guy, he was not. But what better place to play a tough guy than at the Kingdom Hall, knowing full well that nobody's going to challenge you. Funny thing was, you got him out of his element, out of the real world. He was as meek as a lamb. Badass at the Kingdom Hall, but everywhere else he was not. Most of them will approach you on the premise of friendship. They will, little by little, convince you that they are your friend, if not your only friend. And it's not that they take control of your life, but believe it or not, what happens is you are giving up your life and letting them control it without even realizing it. It's all not done all at once. It's little by little by little. The funny thing is, when you step back and you wonder why are you feeling so drained after dealing with these people, there's a reason why. They are not there for friendship. They have no affection for you whatsoever. As a matter of fact, if you listen to them closely, when they speak about other people, they very rarely, if ever, speak very positive of anybody. They're speaking negative of everybody around you, everybody around them. People that you think are their closest friends, they're talking bad about. So you have to wonder, are they doing the same thing to you? It has never dawned on me my entire life to control somebody else's life. I have all I can do to control mine. So why do these people do it? They like to come across as very confident, but for the most part they come across as very pompous and arrogant. So why are they trying to control your life? Because they have no hold on theirs. Even though they may come across as confident, they lack a great deal of confidence. And there are certain people that they are attracted to. See, you may have something that they lack, so they are drawn to you like a magnet. And what they will do is little by little, if you're good at something, they will do one of two things. They will either chop it to pieces, insult it, or in most cases play the one-upper. And in most cases it's all talk because they have never even come close to that. As time goes on, you'll find, why am I feeling very drained? There is another issue that they lack, is vital energy. And when they're talking to you, when they're doing this, they're draining you of your vital energy. See, they lack this vital energy to get them through their lives. They lack self-confidence. So what they have to do is chop you down. And why? So that they can feel better about themselves. See, for the most part in their own lives, they're feeling pretty bad about it. They have no self-confidence. They lack vital energy. That's actually a subject for a separate video. And there is so much in their own lives that they're lacking that when they see somebody that is pretty self-assured, self-confident, they have to latch hold and drain this person and chop this person down to pieces. The funny thing is, when you realize it, and you step back and realize that they're not taking over your life, and you're like, I'm giving it up. As once you see them for what they are, and take a step back and put a barrier up, they start to weaken. This is when they start to get nasty. When you want no part of them, they get very insulting, because that's all they have. They never were your friend to begin with. This is inside the Kingdom Hall as well as out, because there are control freaks and pompous asses in every walk of life. It's best to get away from them as soon as possible. And it's easy to spot them, because you'll notice in a conversation you'll feel very drained afterwards, and you won't feel very good about it. So it's best just to walk away. They need you more than you need them. That's a fact. Because the thing is, they are so drained and they are so lacking in their own abilities that they have to drain you of yours. Not only people like this, but also organizations. If you look at the Watchtower and Bible Tract Society, if Watchtower didn't chop the rank and file down to pieces, if Watchtower didn't keep Jehovah's Witnesses thinking little about themselves, there would be no Watchtower. So many people have woken up to it, then they've walked away, and Watchtower is doing their damnedest to put the brakes on, but more and more people are realizing that they have their own lives, that they don't need Watchtower to run them. So what does Watchtower do? They have the rank and file convinced that they can't live their lives without them. But in all honesty, it's quite to the reverse. See, without your donations, without your voluntary work, Watchtower would have nothing. Sit back and watch JW Broadcasting and listen to these pompous asses. These pompous asses running this organization couldn't do half of what you do. Do you really think they're out in the ministry? Do you really think they're putting in the hours that you do? No, they're living quite comfortably. And they're living comfortably on your sweat and your tears and your hard work. And at the same time, very discreetly, they are chopping you down to pieces. Jehovah's Witnesses lack self-confidence. They think they're confident, but the organization is their confidence. But in all honesty, Watchtower chops it to ribbons. Without the organization, when a lot of JWs walk away, they feel quite empty because their own abilities have been put to sleep. Give that a lot of thought. See, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses do this to other JWs because Watchtower has done it to them. If you look at the males in the organization, they're emasculated. Their masculinity has been taken away. So what do? In retaliation, they have to take it out on other people that they feel they can get away with. Many of them go home and they abuse their wives, they abuse their kids, they abuse Bible studies, and for the most part, they abuse people that they are intimidated by. So what they try and do is they chop this down, or attempt to. Like I said, once you take them for what they are, they're very easy to back off. Unfortunately, there are a lot of wives that are being abused by these emasculated males, and the organization is set up that they have nowhere to go. But think about it. There is always options. There is always somewhere to go. I know when somebody's leaving the organization, they like to chew up Jesus' words and say, well, where else will you go? Anywhere but a high control group. I've been giving that a lot of thought. And over the years as a JW, I noticed my self-confidence had been chipped away. And once I put the brakes on, it wasn't my fading that got their attention. Is when I put the barrier up and I says, no more. This is what got their attention, because I was no longer putting up with their BS, especially from this abusive piece of shit who doesn't live too far from me. And I hadn't forgotten a lot of his BS he pulled. But stand up to them, because without you, they are nothing. They require your energy, they require your effort, or they wouldn't be in existence. There's always options. Anyways, guys, that's just something I wanted to point out. I haven't been around. Hopefully, I'll be out here a little bit more often. Sorry about the glare, guys. It's very early in the morning. You guys have a good day. I'd love to hear your comments, and I'll be talking to you soon.